Well, this is the new MG Windsor and it has been in the news for a lot of reasons. Of course, not just the design, but also the way you can subscribe to the battery and buy the car at just 9.99 lakh. There is a lot more to this car than what you see on the outside, and that's exactly what we'll find out today in this video. But let's start off with this design first. Now, once you lay your eyes on the Windsor, it's very easy to make out that this is not winning any beauty contests. It's not a car that you will buy for its design. It's a car that looks modern. Of course, it's got a lot of elements like these LED DRLs that go from one end to the other. Even at the back, you've got tail lamps that are connected from one end to the other. Being an EV, it's completely shut up at the front, and it looks like it's a modern vehicle, but it's not pretty. It's a design that looks as if it's built to a purpose, and that purpose is comfort. Now, of course, does that comfort live up to the expectations or not? Well, we'll find out, and let's head inside the cabin for that. And once you step inside the cabin, any kind of complaints you have against the exterior design, well, they will simply vanish. When you get inside the Windsor, you instantly realize that this is the USP of this car, the cabin, the interior. Now up front, you'll see it's got a very nice clean dashboard layout. Also, it's got this wood finish which gives it that premium edge, and of course you've got this massive touchscreen right here. There is this odd looking small digital instrument cluster here. I think the size of this is a bit of an issue, although there's no issue in terms of readouts. The information readouts are clear. Everything, the font size is perfect. Just that the screen could have been a tad bit larger. But this one, it is brilliant. And also keep in mind, this controls pretty much everything inside the car. So you can see it's a very clean dashboard. The only physical buttons you get are for the climate control, and beyond that, everything else, even the sunroof, is controlled by the touchscreen by using this slider control here. And in terms of touch response, well, touch response I think could have been a little better. It's a bit slow in terms of instant touch response, but otherwise the clarity, the resolution, the functions it gets, everything is very good. Also, it's a fully connected car, so you get a lot of features which you can access using your smartphone once you're hooked into the system. And overall, I think all of these tech bits work really well. Talking about the interior, well, the material quality used is decent, and the plastic quality here is, again, I would say it's decent, not great, but not bad either. And in terms of practicality, in terms of storage space, well, this is where this cabin scores really high. The door pockets, they've got a lot of space. You can put in a lot of stuff there. Again, here you've got a lot of space to keep a lot of your things. And you've got these three triple designed cup holders. The driver armrest again has a lot of space, and the glove box is spacious as well. So in terms of storage space, well, the cabin is pretty much 10 on 10. Add to it that you have this massive sunroof, and this adds further to the feeling of airiness inside an already spacious cabin. And the seats, well, these are brilliant seats, very comfortable. You can see this quilted pattern here, and the cushioning is also amazing. The side support is great. The driver's seat is electrically adjustable. The co-passenger seat does not get that same function, but it's manually adjustable. But overall, great seats in terms of comfort. What about the rear seat? Let's find out. Welcome to the party piece of the MG Windsor, and that's the back seat. If you're investing in a Windsor, well, this has got to be one of the key reasons for buying this car. No other vehicle in this price segment has a seat that is even comparable to what the Windsor offers. Now you can see it's got a completely flat floor. In terms of space, look at the kind of knee room I have, and the driving seat is adjusted to my driving preference. I'm 5 feet 8 inches for reference. I have a lot of leg room, and Also, in terms of headroom, you can see there's a lot of clearance here. These backrests are brilliant, they're adjustable, and the seat itself is very good. It's got great cushioning, just like the front seats. The under thigh support is pretty much spot on. And because it's a completely flat floor and a wide seat, you can have 3 adults sitting in decent comfort. Yes, the middle passenger might lose out on a bit of an under thigh support, but overall, I think it's a great seat. But if you thought that's about it, no, that's not. Because you can basically convert this seat into sort of a business class seat. And all you need to do is pull on this lever here, and the seat goes that far back. So this is the kind of comfortable position you can get into. And if it's a long drive you're going on, I don't think there's any vehicle even in the 15 to 20 lakh price bracket that offers a seat like this. So this is definitely one of those areas where MG has totally nailed it with the Windsor. And that's not all. There's also this armrest here, well cushioned. And beyond that, again, practical storage space in the back seat is great. You've got some space here to keep your documents. The door pockets are large enough to hold a liter bottle. These speakers look really great, and the overall ambience inside the cabin is brilliant. Like I said earlier, this massive sunroof adds a lot of airiness to this already spacious cabin. There's also this air vent given here for the air conditioning unit. Brilliant cooling, great comfort. In terms of cabin, like I said earlier, whatever complaints you can have with the exterior of this car, once you get inside it, you'll forget everything, because nothing in this price segment comes even close to offering the kind of experience that the Windsor offers. Now, like I said earlier, it's a design that looks as if it was built to a purpose, practicality. So it needs to have great boot space. And it does. And I've got the seat in different angles to show you the kind of space clearance it has. Now I've got this big bag here, and again 2 more bags here, and you can see still there's so much more space inside the boot. Even if you have the seat pushed all the way back, you still do not compromise much in terms of boot space. So pulling a seat back does not compromise a boot space, and this makes it such a great car. A brilliant cabin, great comfort, very good space, and then you get a massive boot, and all of it makes it a great family vehicle. Now, before we go ahead and talk about the driving experience and the pros and cons of the Windsor, if you have made it this far in this video, well, please like it, share it, and do subscribe to our channel and press that little bell icon so that our videos can reach to you on time. Alright, now let's talk about the driving experience of the Windsor. And well, it's an EV. So let's get the stats out of the way first. It's got a 38 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery, and the motor develops about 136 PS of power, 200 Newton meters of torque. 200 Newton meters of torque for a vehicle of this size might not sound much, but keep in mind it's electric torque, so all of it is available from the word go. And once you start driving this car, you realize that it is surprisingly quick. For a vehicle that is designed more like an MPV or a van and is aimed at family comfort, well, this goes pretty quickly, especially in sports mode. So the acceleration is pretty quick, and it can reach high triple-digit speeds with ease. So no issues with that. In terms of overall driving experience, I think it's a very easy vehicle to drive. The overall visibility, all-round visibility is great. So that's one very good thing about the Windsor. And you've got a 360-degree camera that makes driving in and out of tight spots very easy. Of course, the graphic on it feels a bit odd, where you have, especially when it pops up in traffic, when this display comes up and you see that the car is moving on the road without the wheels spinning. So it feels a bit odd, it feels a bit cheap. They could have just added a bit more, animation to it. But at the end of the day, as a feature in terms of functionality, it works well. It gives you a good bird's eye view of all surroundings around you. And in terms of range, well, MG claims this will give you over 330 kilometers on a single charge, and as per our initial testing, keep in mind it's not a detailed test, But from what I've driven today, I think you should be able to get about 300 kilometers on a single charge, which is very good for urban usage, and you shouldn't have any kind of range anxiety. In terms of charging options too, you get plenty. There's a wall box charger that comes with the car, so that can juice up the batteries from 0 to 100 in about 6.5 hours, or you can go to a DC charger. A 50 kilowatt one will juice it up within 55 minutes up to 80%. But the slight limiting factor here is that this can take charge at a maximum speed of 45 kilowatt hours. That's it. It would have been better had it been able to do it at, say, even 100 kilowatt hours, but it's still okay. I mean, most of the chargers around the country are either 25 to 30 kilowatt hour or 50, so it does the job. And the range is pretty good, so this should be sorted in most conditions. But how is it to drive? Well, in terms of driving, keep in mind that it's a quick car, but it's not engaging to drive at all. It's an EV, so it's silent, and like with most EVs, the steering is very light, but it has no feedback. The brake pedal, again, because of the region function, it gives you no feedback. The region works well, and you can also change the settings. You can choose how you want it light, or you want it to be this energy recuperation to be heavy. So that is all fine. But because of that, like with most EVs, the brake pedal does not offer any kind of feedback. And when you put that across with dynamics that are well suited for a family vehicle, so the ride quality is great. The suspension does a good job of ironing out, most of the surface undulations. In terms of handling, however, the Windsor is a neutral vehicle, I would say. If you're using it as a family vehicle, it's fine. It is stable at triple-digit speeds. It sort of brakes well, and no problem on that front. But if you try and drive it enthusiastically, well, that is where the Windsor starts getting out of its element. It's not meant for it, of course. It's not a performance-oriented vehicle, but if it's quick, like I said earlier, it's quick in a straight line. But if you want to drive it overall, quick around bends or around corners, it's not rewarding at all. And there is a fair bit of body roll. And you just have to keep in mind that this is a family vehicle. So as long as you keep that in mind, it's a great vehicle to be in, especially for the occupants. Things that could have been better, of course, include this instrument cluster. I remember I said sometime back when I was reviewing the interior that it's small but readable. But actually, when you're driving, I have now realized it can be a bit of a task to get the other data except the speed and the kilowatt hour numbers. This definitely needs to be made larger. So that is one area of improvement. The other is excessive usage of touch controls. Everything in this car needs to be controlled using this touch screen. And for a driver, when you're driving, going into the menu, finding things, well, it's not a great experience. Yes, of course, if you're driving it every day, you'll get used to it, but I'm not a fan of it. If you are okay with it, it's completely fine. It's a personal thing. But yes, that's how the MG Windsor is to drive. In terms of the BaaS model, the much talked battery subscription model, it's a fairly simple model, and you already know about it. We've explained it earlier. You basically pay 9.99 lakh for the car, then you pay 3.5 rupees per kilometer. You get 1 year of charging free. After that, you have to pay for the charging as well. Does it save you money at the end of the day? Well, if you compare it to say a 14-15 lakh rupee compact SUV, which will still be smaller in size and not offer you this kind of a cabin comfort, I think that you definitely end up saving a fair bit of money after 3 or 5 years with the BaaS model. But if you compare it to a regular EV, well, that is where we need to wait for the prices to be revealed, because you can buy the Windsor like any other normal EV, wherein you don't have to pay anything for a kilometer. You buy the whole vehicle and it's your property. But those prices have not been revealed by MG yet. And once we get to know those prices, it will then be easier to compare for people depending on their usage and come to a conclusion that whether it's more cost effective for them to buy the whole vehicle upfront or just buy the car and subscribe to the battery model. So that is something we will tell in one of our upcoming videos once the prices are announced. But for now, does the Windsor click, and will it manage to woo Indian buyers or not? And I think it should work. Despite the polarizing design, yes, Not everyone, in fact, not most people might like the exterior design, but once you get inside the cabin, you realize that not just this price segment, vehicles that cost a lot more than this also do not offer the kind of cabin comfort, the kind of opulence and the luxury you get inside this cabin is just brilliant. And that is the USP of the Windsor. And once you start liking it, it's very easy to compromise with the exterior design.